All right. Oops, my bad. The thing went. I didn't press live. Anyway, guys, what's up? Welcome to Tino's time. It's Thursday, and you guys know what that means. It's time for our regularly scheduled programming here as Tino and the boys come here and we talk baseball with you every single week. And it just keeps getting worse on the Southside. But last week, I was here by myself. We were talking about about the shenanigans that went down at the park. Talking about the new GM. We talked a little bit about the games and everything. But last week we didn't have Deech or Justin. So they're back this week, guys, to help us and talk about everything that went on. Then what's going on now? All the shenanigans that just whatever. Sox got swept by the Tigers. They lost 2 out of 3 against the Royals. At least there's football on tonight. So everybody, thank you guys all for coming here and hanging out for episode number 25. You don't gotta like the White Sox, but just support the Southside boys. So let's not waste any more time and let's get Justin and Deech back in the show so I am not as lonely anymore. But guys, let's welcome Justin. What's up, Justin? How you doing?
Going on, Tino? Thanks for having me, brother.
Always. Deech, how you doing, bro?
Hanging in there.
Hanging around.
He said hanging in there. Well, I was looking at it. We got about, I think, like 4.5 episodes of at least the regular season, and then I'll be doing the playoffs. So we'll see when all that goes down. But we're almost through this hell of a season. And literally the last episode of the Southside Boys for the season is going to be the hell is over. I just can't wait. It's
the off season, man. The hell's just getting started.
It's true. You're very right about that. You're very right. But Ryan said it in a podcast, or I don't know when it was recorded, but he said, I've never wanted summer to be over more. And I love summer. I feel the same way. I just want summer to be over. And I'm just kind of happy football's beginning because I can't watch this stuff no more. After watching them get swept by the Tigers and these games were disastrous. And like, I don't even want to spend too much time on this because there's really not too much to talk about. They got swept by the Tigers, who is a disaster. And then they lost on Tuesday. Was it a balk-off? I can't even believe it. That even I was so confused. I was watching NXT. I was like, what the hell just happened? And then yesterday they won, but it really doesn't matter. So last week I was here. I was here by myself because as everybody knew, I had to go to a fantasy football draft and everything like that. So it was recorded. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on Chris Getz being the new GM. At the time of my recording, it wasn't official. It was like out there, but it wasn't official yet. So I haven't really talked about it since it's been official, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it. So Justin, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about the press conference? How do you just feel about everything going on in the past, I guess, 2 weeks since you were here last?
I don't have too many positive things to say about the hire, the press conference, the everything. I mean, where do you even start? It was just one of those things where I did listen to a good deal of Chris's. I thought I was going to go into cardiac arrest in the shower and slip and fall and just die because I was getting so worked up. I mean, he couldn't even answer the question, the point blank, what makes you qualified to do this job? He had
no idea.
I mean, it was a little bit refreshing not to have the lawyers speak, as they always used to say about Han, and it is nice that it's a dude who played in the big leagues and it can be an upgrade without being a significant one at all, and way less than what they need to do. I think the whole thing, it's just hilarious to me that they think that they're going to compete next year. I don't give a shit how bad the division is. You're one of the worst teams in baseball this year. You're chasing 3 teams in the division that in theory will all be the same or better next year. And they're not going to make the right moves to do that. They can't make the right moves to do that. They're not going to eat Moncada's money. They can't trade him. They can't get rid of Eloy. And so
those are the 2 guys they need to get rid of.
You make this whole thing about, the changing of the culture and everything. Well, that's not going to fucking change. These guys still don't respect Pedro Grifol. And you see it every night. I mean, I've never seen someone in my entire life with less personality than Pedro Grifol. And he just gets there. There's nothing about him. He doesn't fire you up. He's not a genius. He's not, super, analytical or anything. There's nothing about him that makes him a redeeming manager. He got hired by someone who got fired. Rick Hahn's guy. Rick Hahn's fired, but this dude gets to fucking hang around. And that's somehow the only guy they're committed to for next year. And then Chris is like, well, I'm going to talk to Pedro, then talk to all the players. Well, what if the players don't like him? I don't think they like him. Do it look like they show up to play hard for him every?
Oh my God! And the way, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know if you guys stay in because I think they're hysterical. The post game show, listening to Frank, Ozzy, and Chuck talk sometimes. It's like the thing, like they seem like they've been checked out. Like they go there and they're not even like trying. And it's like sometimes we see like the games where like yesterday they had a couple home runs. Moncada, I swear, Moncada hits a home run, he just needs to take it and be like, it's gonna be the last one I ever hit. And it's just like, bro, like he shows what he can do, and I don't know. And that's the thing. He's
nothing more than these guys every other year who play their way. He didn't have to do it because he's the third baseman next year because they owe him $25 million. But it's like Elvis Andrus last year, and they get this with other guys. They play well in August and September and win meaningless games. And then, well, good. We have Moncada next year. Look what he did at the end of this year. And then we'll be 2 weeks into next year, and he'll go on the IL with some bullshit injury. And we'll go through the same thing all over again.
It's like a cycle.
There's not very many athletes I have less faith in than Moncada. Like, he could hit all these meaningless home runs in September for all he cares. He's just going to spend – he's like, we're talking about the offseason, how hard he's going to work. We all know he's spending the offseason in Northwest Indiana. We all know he's spending the offseason recording music videos. He's not going to do any of that shit. He's
got to go on his vacation, though.
Got to go on his vacation. His vacation after taking the entire goddamn year off. So I'm steamed. I'm upset. I wasn't happy with the Getz hire. I wasn't happy with anything that came out of that press conference. The Jerry one, it was like every tweet I saw from a reporter who was at that, it just kept getting. You're like, okay, well, how could it possibly get worse? Then the tweet comes out about the fucking. Well, we're not going to go after Ohtani. And then this was my least favorite. We're not going to be given 10-year contract to starting pitchers. No one's doing that, asshole. Stop exaggerating the market just to give yourself an excuse not to be a part of it. No one's giving starting pitchers 10-year contracts. And then when I thought it couldn't get worse at all, they both directly go against the Chicago police report about the shooting incident in the ballpark. And it's like, it's almost like state-controlled media, like, except we have actual media to refute what these guys tell us. It's actually ridiculous, every bit of it. And I've been very checked out from everything going on the field for the past couple of weeks.
Well, you've been checked out for like 2 months. I feel like you're the one that
emotionally I was checked out, but I watched at least an okay amount. I don't even pretend anymore. I haven't flipped. They haven't been on my TV since it got announced that Getz is going to be the guy, and they won't be for the rest of the season.
I mean, true. Hey, at least, like I said, at least football starts tonight. Lions and Chiefs guys will be here tonight. But
the Kingdom.
He's got the Chiefs. Of course you do, bro.
My adopted AFC team, man.
Honestly, I didn't even notice. Is that what you were doing before we went live? I didn't even notice that's what you were like you were showing off. I thought you were showing off your chain. I didn't even realize the shirt. I thought it was the chain.
Red Kingdom.
Gotta love it. But I mean, and that's kind of like how I have it on because when I'm live, I need something else to watch with the wrestling. So I keep it on, but the volume's low. And sometimes I don't even look. Or there was times like I look like when they went up 6-0 and it was 6-1. And I'm like, here we go, 6-3. 6-4, yada yada yada, and it just like it's one of those things that it's like I don't know, I just can't even deal with it, and it's like they've gotten like worse since like the Getz. I don't. They were saying the numbers today, and it's just like it's outrageous how like he says I'm new. I wish I had the quote. He said I'm
different.
I'm different. I'm new, and I'm this and that, and it's like maybe he is. But again, like none of us are going to believe it until he shows it. None of us are going to believe anything because the product that they put on this field is god awful. That's not even a word, but it's god awful.
But you almost need to make up a new word for us.
I mean, they find new ways to lose every day. And it's funny because I said it in the Picks to Click video the night they lost off the balk-off. I said, let's find a new way to lose the night. And not that I think that they would lose off of a balk-off because maybe Gregory Santo, whatever the hell he did, and I didn't even care.
Was that 2 nights ago?
That was 2 nights
I
ago.
was home. My dad still had it on. He was just turning out in the kitchen.
Your dad's like, come on, Justin. Come on.
I'm like, I don't care, man. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. And it just like, it's one of those things. And I don't know if we have to do it. I don't know who has to do it. But for the 17,000th time, can I not see Brian Shaw pitch every single day? The man has pitched probably 1,000 pitches since being on the White Sox in like July. Like, I don't understand what Pedro's obsession is with him, but like Brian Shaw is like he closed out the game yesterday. I'm like, so you brought Santo. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And watching Pedro sit on this like this, and he's just like,
he's thinking about all his favorite Fleetwood Mac songs.
I'm just like, bro, I'm like, I get it, like whatever, but like they were making it just, I don't even know. It's so frustrating. I just try not to think about it and just try to like wait for the season to end. It makes me so mad. It like gets me more. It just stresses me out even more. But Deech, how you feeling, bro? You've had to go to a few games. At least me and Dustin aren't going.
Had to go, yeah.
So how you feeling? I like the outfit today, bro. You.
I bought my first apparel at the ballpark. The last game I was at, I had to buy the bucket hat, the Southside bucket hat. It had been taunting me all season, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna cave at some point, so I might as well do it. So I won't be buying any more merchandise this season, obviously, but I mean, the Chris Getz thing, in the back of all of our minds, we kind of had this whole, it's almost like you prepared yourself to know that was going to happen. I mean, there wasn't anyone that was completely shocked, like, holy shit, Chris Getz, where did that come from? It was like, we all knew it was going to, I mean, there was a good chance it could happen. You were waiting and hoping that there would be some surprise GM that we pulled from an actual team that, I mean, has been competitive consistently, but no, we got Chris Getz, which, like, it is what it is. You could buy into Jerry's explanation of why he chose Getz because he knows.
Is that the first time he's done an interview? I swear, I think that's the first time in my 27 years of life I've seen that man.
It's been years
and like do anything.
Jerry talked to the public.
It was like
to the public, to the media.
It made sense why him and Tony were so good of friends, though. I was like listening to Tony talk in the press conferences all the time and after the post game show. I'm like, it all makes sense now, but it's just like, oh, awful. Go ahead, Deez.
I mean, so you can't necessarily you can't sit there and be like, well, that's wrong. I mean, what Jerry said, because he makes statements that you can't necessarily full-blown debate with him, and you're like, well, I mean, that's probably not how that worked, but you can throw this out as your excuse, and it's hard to sit there and be like, no, that didn't happen. But I was okay with the Chris Getz conference until they asked him that question about Pedro Grifol, and when he fucking committed to Grifol, I was like, this is bullshit. Now I'm actually irritated. What other team? We will probably lose 100 games at this point.
We have to go 9-13 now, they said, I think it is, or something like that, for them not to lose 100.
We can't win more than fucking one game in the series. And it
says, hey, it's so sad.
I mean, in offense, I was glad they let Brian Shaw close out the game. Fuck Gregory Santos. You've not been good recently. So, I mean, to just keep handing you the ball on the ninth for you to go out there and fucking blow games in stupid ass manners, I'm fine with. I mean, to just be like, he's the closer of the future. He could be, but make him work a little bit harder. The guy doesn't seem like he's like really going out there to get better. He just seems like he's a talented guy who, if you pushed him harder, he probably would be even more talented.
Well, a lot of these guys need that.
Well, yeah. I mean, Luis Robert is a prime example. We saw years where with the injuries and just inconsistency. This year, for whatever reason, someone got in his ear or he became
He got benched earlier in the year in that one game, and he kind of turned it on after that.
That was the only that was for like the first 5 months. Pedro didn't do shit to any other player, but bench is the best fucking one. And it works. That's what blows my mind. It fucking worked, and he turned it around, and yet everyone else were just like, who cares? Yohan doesn't want to play. We'll just let him sit on the bench. That's fine. I mean, Pedro hasn't done, like Justin said, nothing he's done is impressive.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, what has he proven to be able to come back after this disaster? It's like, okay, so we're going to bring back a guy that brought – like me and you last year, bro, this conversation is like engraved into my head. me and you sitting here on what I forgot what baseball show I did last year, and me and you having this conversation being like, bro, next year's going to be better. 81 and 81 is going to be the worst. Everything, it's going to be okay. And this is like worse. Like Justin has said it a million times how he didn't buy into any of it. And it's like, what did they really do this offseason to get better? And it's just one of those things that it's just like the whole 180 of this team from being 2020, 2021, and just seeing how much of a disaster it really is. And it's like seeing the way like Oscar Colas, I know your favorite player out there. And I mean, I don't know if the alternate picks, the clicks are working, bro, but like are both our guys at a home run yesterday. So like, I don't know, but like, it just it's like, I don't know. Like, I just, these guys, like, they don't, like, I want to find guys that want to fight and that they have the will to win and have like, why are you shaking your head?
No, I'm shaking my head because I agree with you, and because they didn't build this team and they didn't take character of these guys into account when they did any of that. Rick Hahn looked at prospect rankings and fucking slap hitting college hitters and was like, "This is it. This is my team." And that's why there's no leaders. That's why there's no culture. That's why they don't like each other. You know, like.
Well, and that's the thing. If like, I would rather have a guy named like John Doe that loves these guys, that can go out there and hit the ball, than have the number one prospect in Yohan Moncada that doesn't care. Because John Doe is going to come up there, he's going to hit the ball, he's going to steal a base. And watching these guys steal bases on us is like ridiculous. They know what to do. And it's like Pedro is like giving them stuff that like he said he could see how like Deech said a minute ago about everything he said he has improved. It's like, where's we're going to go out there and kick your ASS every day? There's none of that. It's we go out there and you suck, and maybe the biggest thing you do is take a guy out if he doesn't run to third base or first base. But what's that exactly doing? And it's just like, it just doesn't make sense. And it's like watching these teams, it's like they know when they play us that they have every type of advantage, and they turn into like the best team in the world. Like the A's aren't that good. The Royals are not. Like, I've watched these teams play other teams on like ESPN or whatever, and they're not a good baseball team. But then when they come play the White Sox, they turn into these AL All-Stars that are just, they turn into the people from Space Jam. It's like they take all the powers and it just doesn't make any sense to me. And it just like, it's like honestly, like if you don't want to be here, I would just go in there and say, get the hell out. Because like, that's like I don't even know. So
we can't do that because our asshole GM, who's no longer the GM, fucking signed all these idiots to extensions way before they proved that they fucking deserve them.
Well, and if they want to do anything, I feel like they have to eat the money. Like say, or even say like, okay, I'll take on 20 million of the whatever 29, and you take on the other 9. Like, you have to find a way to get these guys out of there if they're that big of an issue. And if that's what it costs, that's what it costs. Like, you got to do something to get out of the hole that you're in, because we're in a hole where we're trying to climb out of, but we're just sliding back down. And it's just like, this is not okay. Like, it's not.
And moves that you've expected them to have made by now have not happened. Why the fuck is Yasmani Grandal still on the team?
Why? Because they're paying him.
Zero.
Sebi got DFA'd and claimed within 24 hours. I was like, bro, if they're gonna pick up Sebi, somebody will pick up Yes. Like, come on.
I mean,
Sebi's at Wrigley this weekend. If you guys want to go see an old friend.
Is he really? Troll?
It's Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, I thought it was the Braves. Okay, Arizona. That's right.
Yes, Sebi goes.
I don't know why it was the A. I thought it was the Braves, but okay. But Arizona makes more sense though.
Other than the money aspect of Grandal, no one has ever came out and been like, Yasmani Grandal is a great like veteran presence and a lock. I mean, they're not. And for fucking Pedro to throw that out there the other day and said he's really taking the young guys under his. Okay, so you're teaching Corey Lee how to essentially catch, because he wasn't a catcher for the longest. Didn't he start at catcher late? I believe. Yeah. So, I mean, he's teaching him a few things. I mean, having Corey Lee back there, at least not every fucking guy who gets on base runs. I mean, they're picking these selective.
Half of them.
I mean, well, they're picking ones that are fast. I mean, Grandal, you could pick the slowest fucker on your team and run on him if you have Kopech pitching, because those two are the worst combination ever to sit and have anyone on base for. So
good thing Kopech doesn't have a problem with walks.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I saw, what was it, Friday? he walked like 5 of the first 10 batters he faced or something. I
don't even know. I just can't with Kopech. Like they were talking about Saturday. They were like, oh, well, Kopech might come out of the bullpen or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, what exactly is that going to do? Or he's just going to come up and just like, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's like these guys just what are they running here? I don't know what they're running. Like I don't know, man.
Okay, and that Kopech post, what was bullshit too is like they responded to their own post, whoever posted it, and was like, Luis Patino is an option to come up and pitch in replacement of Kopech, like if he misses this starter. Why are we hyping up fucking guys that we like claimed off of waivers? That some other team was like, this guy's not good. We've waited him out 4 years and they have not been the top prospect we thought they'd be. So we're just like full blown DFAing them. And everyone gets all like, oh, well, maybe he'll be. I mean, Tuki Toussaint has been okay for.
I'll give it to Tuki. He's definitely done whatever, but like
that Brent Honeywell motherfucker that we picked up.
He's already gone, isn't he?
Yeah. So bad that like even the Sox were like, holy fuck, we like to garbage like dive, but Jesus Christ, dude, like you can't do anything right. No. So none of the moves that have been made since Getz took over make you want to be like, yeah, this will be okay. I did notice Getz does not word it. He isn't Rick Hahn where he's like, we'll contend next year. Getz multiple times said, we will be better next year than we were this year. Okay, so if you lose a fucking 100 games, you could lose
81 and 81.
So I mean, at least
96 losses next year.
Yeah, at least
trending in the right direction.
At least he's not saying something that you know damn well you can't promise, like Rick Hahn with his like parades and all.
Bro, I re-listened to that interview and I'm like, how did I forget about this? Like, it all started coming back to me. I'm like, I don't remember that interview. And I started watching. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, this.
So I mean, about that asshole who will remain nameless who told me that Tony La Russa cost them 17 games in 2022. Imagine if he was managing this team, how bad they would be. Oh, 17 games. Give me a fucking break.
What are we? 32 games under 500 right now? Something like that. I lost track.
Okay. Coaching staff this year has definitely lost us a fuck ton of games. Like,
quite a
bit. I feel like, again,
every time you had Lopez close a game, you fucking lost us games. Why we kept trying that? It was like, he got shelled last night. Let's throw him out there again with fucking guys on base.
Well, that's why, like, when I saw Santos come out, I'm like, you're really gonna have this guy come out? I was like, so you're gonna give this guy a 5-out save, and then after he gives up a balk off, I'm like, I can't. And then of course, Brian Shaw came in. I just was like, and that's the thing. It's just like, what exactly are you waiting until the off season? Then what was the big deal of waiting until the offseason to try and find a different guy that you could have brought from outside of the building that wasn't in the White Sox organization, that hasn't had anything to do? Yes, it may have taken a year, but I would rather give up a year and have 10 years of success. Because at this point, what are we doing? We're just going to suck again? We're going to be mediocre and be awful?
No, they're going to compete. Did you listen to them?
Yes, I listened to them. But, like, what, bro? Like, again, if they do, I'm going to come on here the show next year and have a celebration. But until you prove it and until there's something that's done where it's just like, and again, that's the thing. What, like, you have to do something and nothing is going to be done.
They're not going to make any moves. They never make any moves.
That's the thing.
That's not what they do.
Where it's like, I do not believe that they're going to make any moves where they're going to put themselves in a position to compete next year. Like, I'm already preparing myself just to be bad, and let's hope that the Southside boys do good next year, and let's hope we have some good memories, because that's what, it's just like, at least next year we'll start with a clean slate and we'll hope for the best. But like, there's going to be nothing unless they go out and get a big name, but nobody's going to spend any money. I mean, Jerry didn't even just like say he wasn't even going to sign Ohtani. He laughed at the fact of spending money and like paying a guy like that. And maybe that's what they need to do. Overpay for a couple guys. Because if these guys are good, they're going to come in there and play baseball and play good baseball and not this dysfunctional defense or guys throwing it. Bro, when I saw that play yesterday, what was Tukey doing? Who was he throwing it to? Was there an imaginary shortstop or second baseman out there? Because I could have thrown the ball faster and I could have thrown it with my strong arm and flipping done it better than he did. Like, come on now. Like, it was just like, it's like the fundamentals is bad, and that's where, like, I think, like, everybody needs to go. Katz needs to go. Hassling or whatever? And I would just clean house, because at this point, what are we doing here? And we're literally the laughing stock of baseball.
Oh, you couldn't even suggest this past winter that Katz should have been a part of the house cleaning of the coaches. He should have been, and it's never been more apparent that he has no idea what the fuck he's doing. I mean, he's a fucking high school pitching coach, and this track record reflects one. It's unbelievable.
His prize possession
success story has made the biggest regression in baseball, arguably, this year.
I was just about to say his biggest prize possession goes and gets traded to the Angels, sucks. And then he goes out for the Guardians and he's hanging out with Kristen McKenzie and they're homies and they're this and that. And he goes out and gives up 9 runs.
I enjoyed the meltdown on Twitter.
I love every second of it because,
I enjoyed the meltdown on Twitter when Cleveland claimed Gio and Lopez. I will never get the over admiration that some Sox fans have for Lucas Giolito, almost makes me not like him. I like him. I know that. I'm confident in that I do. But people are in love with this guy.
They're so in love.
He was he's all right. He was solid. He's a good guy. Likable, sure, but if you really love them as much as these people say they do, where it's I want him to marry my daughter, then you should be happy that they ended up in Cleveland, because he had a terrible start, obviously, but don't you want him to be somewhere that they actually, set pitchers up for success? Do you really think so? Or are you just feeling sorry for yourself? And this is
the only thing I will say is it's a lot of the guys they got rid of besides Berger, because again, Berger's gonna do good in Miami. He's gonna have the power with what he's gonna have. But a lot of the guys that they've got rid of, yes, Lance Lynn went on his little run, but he still's giving up home runs. Giolito has not done very good. So it's a lot of these guys, I've been thinking about it a lot. It's they put these guys together and they thought that they would all mesh well and they would become this great team that would build together. And it's all these guys, if you put Moncada, on a team, I don't even want to say the Dodgers, because the Dodgers are too easy of a thing, but a team that is competing, he doesn't need to be the guy. These guys all are great because they don't need to be the guy, and they don't need to go out there and they just have too much pressure and whatever they have. And it's just that's the thing where it just as much as I love Eloy and Moncada and whatever and everything, whatever that was happening that we all thought would happen, it's time to move on. And it's you say, the infatuation, people were upset with Abreu, and I get Abreu, but it's these guys move on. They go to different teams. We've seen Thomas go to a different team. We've seen Aaron Rowland go to a different team. We've seen all these AJ Brzezinski go to, Jim Thome. I can go on and on about all these guys that at least I remember growing up watching that went to different teams. And they all still come back and they go into whatever, and they, you know what I mean? It is what it is. These guys need to move on, and it's a business. And it's it sucks, but it's not meant to happen. And it's I don't know. So, yeah. But before we get to anything else, I figure we go through the chat, because there's a lot of people in the chat today. The one time I thought there wouldn't be, there's a lot of people. Maybe they're all talking about football. Well, let's see if we got any questions. Colton says, how's everybody doing? What's up, Colton? He says the White Sox are the AEW of baseball on paper. With the core, they should be incredible, but massively underachieving because of the people at the top. Do you guys think that? Do you think he passed next year? I say if we suck next year by Memorial Day, you get rid of him. There's
if they're bad next year, he's not getting a third year. That's not. No.
There's no way. You give it a month, low key, you just can't. There is just a report. Yes, there was a report 5 minutes before we went live here, guys. If you have Travis Kelce as a tight end in fantasy football, or if you're a Chiefs fan, your guy's going to be out this week. I have him in fantasy. I replaced him with Pat Freiermuth. So if you have somebody like that, maybe go out and get Noah Gray if you really need a Chiefs tight end. But I don't know how I'd feel having a backup on a Thursday night, and if he doesn't perform. So there are some people out there that you can go and get. The game don't start for an hour and a half, so make sure you replace Travis Kelce. Do Justin and Deech like football? I know Justin does. Deech, not very much. Deech did a lot of fantasy leagues apparently, but he just doesn't care.
Yeah, I drafted 5 teams.
You did 5, bro. You did more than I did.
And I will I'll bounce around and like check scores and stuff like that, but I don't know. With the last few years, I just have not been into football as much.
Was there a period of time where like you were big into it, where you would kind of transition into like
probably like 3 or 4 years ago, I was still really into the NFL and would like sit down on Sundays to watch the Bears game. I mean, last year, I'll be honest, I watched one full Bears game the entire season, and they lost, and it was bad. And I was just like, well, I don't know that I'll be doing this again. So,
I mean, the last game they won was versus the Patriots on Monday Night Football. So I just hope they win on Sunday and beat those goddamn fudge Packers, because I don't want to listen to it. Well, we'll find out Sunday. The fact that y'all have given up on Eloy is 26. Eloy is still only 26. That's crazy. Moncada's only 28. But it's not even that. What have they proven to prove that they are going to be any good, and they're just getting older? And that's the biggest problem. It's like, I don't want to give up on these guys, but what exactly have they done besides be injured, play sometimes, show some sort of sparks of being great, but they can't do it consistently? And that's the thing, the consistency. Like I said, I would rather have John Doe that's consistent for 100 games than have Moncada that's going to play 50 games and have garbage time home runs and thinks he's the best player in the game.
The fact that Moncada is 28, it works against him in my eyes. That's old. I mean, for him to not have shown anything outside of one season.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like the fact
no,
that
it's not good.
The fact, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, the fact that it's been 8 years or 7 years since the 2016 season is kind of crazy.
Yep.
So, yeah. Moncada does do music. I don't think he's any good. Do you guys think Moncada's any good?
No. He's not good at anything he does.
I mean, he's good at going on vacations, though.
Yeah. He's good at wearing colorful outfits.
Jadis says Eagles on top. Jadis, I don't want to hear Jadis, I don't want to hear your nonsense. Travis Kelce is not playing as a Chiefs fan. Are you worried?
I'm not a Chiefs fan, actually. I just have the shirt because I was in Missouri and it was $10. I do like the Chiefs, but I am actually playing Pacheco tonight. So I'm actually happy to hear that Kelce's out, because someone's got to account for the yards and scoring in that offense. So
very true.
All right.
Deep sleeper, Sky Moore tonight, guys. Or Kadarius Toney. I don't know. Maybe losing on what? An HBP would be new. Who?
Hit by pitch.
I mean, I've seen that before too. The Sox have done that before. I remember a game versus KC, they did that. He said, Deech, you quiet, bro. Everybody's got a mustache. I don't like mustaches. And Justin too. Yep, everybody.
Thanks, boss.
Chiefs are 4.5 against the Lions. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
I actually took the under because I felt like the public would be on the over. It's a high fucking over, man. It's like 52. I don't know. It might have went down with Kelce out.
I was thinking it was like 40 something. I didn't even get a chance to look at it.
Chiefs are going to win like 30-14 or something.
So what's your prediction?
30-14. We'll go 30-14 Kansas City.
That's it. Troll. Deej, you got a prediction for the game tonight?
I'll say 45-28.
Wow. Okay, so he thinks it's going to be very high scoring.
I mean, hey, I'll take it.
And
of course,
they're so overhyped.
I mean, they do this every year, and I swear I've only seen like one big Thursday night game, and I think it was like the Patriots, and I think it was the Patriots and Chiefs, and Jamal Charles was it like 4 or 5 touchdowns that game? It was like opening night or something. I think it was like 2013 or something like that.
Yeah, that's years ago.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's been a minute. Like, and it was, yeah. And of course, Travis Kelce has not missed a game since 2013. And the one year I actually it's me. I think I'm the problem. I think that's what it is. Deech can say whatever he wants. I don't care. He said hockey seems like a Deech sport. Is that true?
Hockey. I mean, I like hockey. The Blackhawks are going to be exciting for me. I mean, Connor Bedard should, alone just make them exciting to watch. So,
I mean, hey. Deech, would you be happy if there was another White Sox fight? Well, kind of a fight with the fans or the team.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, we have it all on this.
But I'd love to see like Pedro and Tim square up. That'd be so great. There we go. The last month. Let's just hope for Jadis, not complaining. It's called venting, bro. This is frustrating when you have a passion about something. I do want to. I wanted to be a baseball player when I was younger. I played the outfield. I was pretty good. Don't judge me. The only one not ranked, Justin. He said, Jadis, shut up.
Is that satire?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Justin, you want to go on a quick rant?
I already did to open the show. I mean, I don't have anything good to say about any of this.
I was going to say, I don't know. I was going to say the opening was pretty good. They were considered, Moncada was number one and Eloy was, they showed the picture of all those trades from 2016 and it just gave me anxiety. And then they showed a projected 2023 lineup and I was like, this guy's not here. This guy's traded. This guy sucks. I'm just like, you guys are all.
The only thing any of those projected lineups got right is that they didn't sign any premier free agents to add to those lineups.
Yeah, we thought the core was it.
Yeah, we thought.
I will say,
we thought.
I think, has Luis Robert exceeded the most games played by anyone on this core in a season?
I think he has to this year.
I know he exceeded his own, but yeah, I would argue he may have exceeded every fucking player in the core because we know we were resting Andrew Vaughn for 2 years with his his legs are tired because he played some fucking position he hasn't played since like grade school or some shit. I mean, Luis Robert is literally the only positive thing you can. I mean, yeah, and what blows my mind, another move by Getz, and it is what it is.
Well, yeah, we're caught up on the chat, so let's get back to the talking. We'll get back to the chat before we end the show, but yeah, let's get back on the
or do it. Whatever, they put Clevenger on waivers, and then no one wanted him. Still,
nobody wanted him.
You had to have kind of have known that already. So why even put them on? Because no offense, if I'm Clevenger, I'm kind of like, fuck you then. Like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
It was like a day after they released all these articles about Clevenger saying how he'd love to be back here next year and loves Chicago so much. And then you throw his ass on waivers. It's just like nothing they do makes any sort of sense to building any sort of culture. They love to use the word culture, but they fucking go.
And that's the thing. Let me ask you that. Like, what do you guys think? What do you guys think this thing needs? And okay, let me ask you. If you're the GM, what would you do? Deech, I'll start with you. Like, if you're Getz, what do you do this offseason and just to try to fix this?
If I'm Getz, at some point he needs to have a come to Jesus with himself and realize that his first ever public statement of, no, we are not going to sit and fire Pedro Grifol, I would get rid of Pedro Grifol. I don't really care if you said you weren't going to. It kind of makes you look shitty, but at this point, I mean, no.
But it also proves that he's not going to put up with it. So, and that's the thing where it's like, if he does it, it's like, well, okay, nobody's safe. Like he said, Pedro was safe, but
you would fans buy into if you, even though you said you were keeping Grifol, if he goes out there and fires him in the offseason, fans would at least be like, oh, okay, maybe Chris Getz is actually trying to fix this. But if you let that guy who's going to sit and probably lose 100 games this year run out there next year, who physically watching, no player respects him at all. I don't see any player sitting there. Remember how Abreu would at least make comments to the media about how Tony was a good manager and Tony. What player has come out and been, I mean, maybe Moncada, because he's gotten a free pass all fucking season, has been I like Pedro Grifol.
Well, and it's funny that you say it because if you remember in the offseason, it's funny because Pedro met with Eloy and Moncada and was like, I'm going to sit down with them guys and figure out a plan and everything. So it's it's funny that you say that because it's are those the only two guys he sat down with, if any? Because that's the thing.
It's pretty fucking telling.
Well, and that's the thing. It's so telling when you see these guys play baseball and nobody's out there and nobody's then you see the Orioles coach, or you see Dusty Baker. When I watch an Astros game and Dusty Baker's high fiving, it's he's like a player. He's heck yeah. He's he gets an adrenaline rush and is let's go. And it's just Pedro's like this. Even when a guy hits a home run, Moncada hit the home run, I was waiting for a high five and Moncada just walked past him. And that's the thing. It's like you can so tell like how much these guys care. And it's so funny because I'm live and people are like, what's with your facial expressions? I'm like, I'm just watching the stupid game. I'm like, it's just because it's ridiculous. So keep going, Beach.
The moment of the season was that stupid picture or video with Lucas Giolito pushing him in like the laundry cart or whatever after like what, the first game of the.
That was the first game of the season. That's where that meme came from. It's the first.
Yeah, that literally has been his. And it's nothing necessarily against him. I just don't think he realized how crappy of a situation he was getting himself into. And he wasn't prepared for it, obviously. I really don't know at this point.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And Justin has said it a few times. He's like, at least we'll have the first night in Houston. And somebody had to share that hype video that they made in the beginning of the year. And it's like we just add more to it. It's like we could just add like more to it. Or you could just make like, bro, like we're gonna be a whole documentary in like 10 years. It's what's gonna be like the problem. And it's just like again, like if Getz goes out there and he changes everything, and that's like again, until we see it, I'm not gonna get excited about anything. Like I'm more excited about the Bears and even like the Hawks and the Bulls and everything else like that, because I don't know what's gonna the future holds for the White Sox, and I'm certainly not going to be going to many games if they're not going to do anything, or we're just going to lose 100 games, because that stuff just depresses me. And I love the Southside boys, but we need to come back here next year and actually have something good to talk about, because I don't think I've ever seen an awful year more than this year, just ever. And Jerry said it in his interview, this is the worst year I've had as a GM and an owner, and I don't even watch the games, and when I record them and then I delete them if they lose, and then I'll watch them if they win. And it's just like, okay, but we all sit here and watch these games, and you spend your money to go to all these games, and you're sitting in your seat and you have this and you have that. And it's just like, I don't know what exactly he needs to do, but he needs to do like an overhaul. And I heard a comment from, I think it was one of the Sox podcasts, and they said the year they went out and and obviously, like, again, it's not going to happen, but they went out and they got Hito Aguchi. They got Jermaine Dye. They got they got Scotty Potts. They got like 5 guys that ended up being on the World Series team, where it's like, that's what they need to do. They need to get rid of Eloy, Moncada, whoever else, if it's Anderson or whatever it is, as much as it sucks, bring in guys that are actually going to want to go out, like I was saying earlier, that are going to go out there and want to. Let's hit 5 John Does that hit the baseball. I'm all for it, that steal bases and that can bunt the ball. Like, and why are we bunting the ball in the 8th inning with 1 out? I saw Elvis do that. I'm like, you're a dipshit. Literally, I was like, you're a dipshit. They were like, who are you talking to? Like, I'm just like, I can't. I'm like, I don't even know. So
the one thing I will say about the Getz hiring is, at least it is not the stupid 2-headed monster or 3-headed monster, if you count Jerry in it, that we had to deal with before. I mean, because these stories coming out, like, did you guys see that one with Ryan McGuffey, where
Ryan McGuffey's the best? He just doesn't care.
It was Kenny Williams called him, and like, I don't remember what the context of it was, but he pretty much just called him to be like, I'm still the fucking man. That's right. Or whatever. And then it's like shit like that, where it's like egotistic guys in the front office that don't, the one technically reports to the other, and you're never going to have a consistent agreement on everything. So you're having 2 guys pull the team in 2 different directions. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. So now we know, if we're good, you can be happy with Chris Getz. But if we're bad, there's no like, oh, anyone other than Jerry really has no say over Chris Getz at this point.
Yeah. So Justin, let me ask you that. What would you do if you were the GM?
They have to sign starting pitching. I mean, I'm with Deech. Like, I would fire Pedro too. I don't think that'll happen, considering he's already said otherwise. But they need to sign starting pitching. That needs to be priority number 1. There just isn't as much flexibility with the lineup, being that, your Eloys and Moncadas are already locked in. They're not going to do anything with AV. It seems like Sosa will be the second baseman. I bet they pick up Tim's option to play short. You got Corey Lee and that Edgar Caro. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
as you know, the catchers, obviously Lou Bob and center, they gave Benintendi all that money, and I'd be willing to bet that Oscar Colas is the right fielder. So I don't really think they're going to upgrade there at all. There's just not a lot of room to, just practically speaking, even though a lot of those people could be upgraded. They need to sign starting pitching. I don't know what the market looks like.
It's not very good. I was looking at it. It's not very. It's like Montgomery, Flaherty. It's like guys like that, and
they need innings eaters.
And that's like, and like Deech said earlier, Tukey's been I think I've been the most impressed with Tukey's like in the past like month, doing a little better each game. Everything, and he'll probably be in the rotation next year. But like we've talked about it, like them just saying that they're going to compete, like you're going to have to do something big to prove to us next year that you're going to compete. When we start the episodes next year, we're actually coming here and we're like, holy crap, guys, this offseason, they proved us wrong compared to what we were talking about back in September on night 1 of the NFL season. So, and I think
should not just be handed right field either.
Well, no, and that's the thing. Nobody should be handed anything. Like, you guys need to go out there and prove that you want to be out there. Like, I would say no job is like you're gonna go out there and you're gonna prove it. Maybe Robert, like maybe he's the only one.
Yeah,
like
but he's already proven it.
And that's the thing. Like, I would give it, and like most likely Corey Lee and Edgar eventually at some point next year, and it's stuff like that. But it just so.
I would rather upgrade in right field, though, and have Colas get occasional playing time as opposed to upgrade in base and take playing time. I mean, I'm not super high on Sosa, but he has power where if he does sit and figure it out at the plate, that's more of an upgrade to have at second base than fucking Oscar Colas being able to throw people out at home plate occasionally. I mean, he really hasn't done shit other than that. I mean,
no, not at all.
We promised these 20 or 30 home runs, and him and Moncada are both sitting at what, like 6 or 7 now? I mean,
if that 6 or 7.
Moncada has 7 after last night.
Oh my! He's just padding those stats, bro. He's gonna end up with like 15 home runs, and 10 of them are gonna be, or like 13 of them are gonna be in September and October. Because I think it goes,
but not the good October, the shitty end of the regular season October.
Yeah. The last Thursday episode that we'll be doing here before we start talking about the playoffs will be I forget who the hell they're ending the season with. I don't even know.
Did you guys happen to see that interview with Moncada?
Which one?
I'm not sure when it was. It was sometime last week. So they're interviewing him and asking him if he would like to stay in Chicago. And his response was, yes, I really like Chicago. I'm very comfortable here. It's like, no shit, you're comfortable. No one expects anything out of you.
You've been $29 million, bro. I mean, shit, I'd be comfortable too.
Where it was just like, okay, you could not have given any sort of, I mean, you could have made me feel a little bit better of you as a player if you said anything other than I'm comfortable here.
I mean, and that's the problem. They need to not be comfortable, and sometimes getting out of your comfort zone is like the best, because like I was recording a podcast with somebody yesterday, and he was talking to me, and he was just like, he was like talking to me about like the episodes and everything like that, and he was like, it's crazy to see, like, because like they know me so much for wrestling. It's like when we talk about baseball or football and everything, it's like it's so crazy to see where it's like sometimes it's good to get out of your comfort zone, because you can't just, it's just one of those things. Or like going to a new team is good, or doing, So moving is good. Sometimes he's got a lot of money to go and do stuff now. I mean, he got paid all that money before, and that's the problem. They got all this money before they even played on the field. Like they got, it's just like, if it worked out, it would have been genius, but it didn't work out. So, yeah, but I don't want to talk about it too much, but I just want to get your guys' thoughts. So the last week we went 5-6, or we lost 5 out of 6. I said they would win 5 out of 6 was my bold prediction last week. Well, they played the Tigers and the Royals again. So I'm going to ask you guys in the next week, what do you guys think what do we think they do?
Oh, and however many games they have.
You said they lose all of them?
Sure.
He said, I sure. Deech, what do you think? Do you think they win any more games? Do Do you think they win a series?
No, they won't win the series. I would predict they probably win win the last game of each series because they realized how pathetic they look.
Bro, I think that's what it is. They need to lose a couple, and then they're like, "Oh shit, we suck."
I really don't even know at this point.
Like I said, I don't even want to talk about the games that are going on because it doesn't matter. But I just wanted to get you guys' opinions because we're literally playing the Royals and the Tigers again, just like we did last week. And remember, this was the easy part of the schedule, guys. We going into the playoffs.
Like, I would absolutely love to be a fly on the wall in that.
Oh, bro, it would be so great. It would be like reality TV. It would be like Big Brother, but White Sox.
During like a Pedro,
like, that would be, bro. That's my two loves combined, bro. Two summer loves, Big Brother and White Sox. Let's go. Hey, so good. I would love just to see like what these guys do in the locker room, like before the game, and like, is it like the major leagues where they're all like flipping tables and stuff? And Eloy's got like the thing from the major leagues, and he's got like what was the thing that the dude had? Where like the smoke came out of it. I forgot what the heck.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I forgot what they're called. But
with the incense and everything.
Yeah, the incense and everything. Well, you guys got anything else?
These guys are probably on Tinder prior to the game.
Definitely Tim. Listen, I love Tim, but probably. So anything else you guys want to cover? Did I miss anything? I feel like I got it all. I don't know if there's anything I missed.
No, this team really
covered all the misery.
Yeah, no, isn't it fun? Hey, but it's good. We come on here and get it all out for 50 minutes, you know? I mean, hey, there's only 4 episodes left, and then you don't have to come back till next year. You don't even have to come back next year. I'll just be here by myself. What's up?
1-year deal, no more Mazzara.
That's it. I just signed you for 1 year. That's it. That's it. That's all I get. Shit. Deech, how many years did I sign you to last year? I think I got you for like 3 or 4. You can't go nowhere. I signed you to the Benintendi deal.
Yeah.
Funny as hell. So before I'm going to go through the chat real quick. I forgot. Oh, there we go. The White Sox owner is Donald Trump. Shit. At least Donald Trump would spend money. Maybe.
Hey, Tino and Justin, I have to go. So I will see you guys next week.
Okay.
Nice. See ya. All right.
Bye.
Take it easy, Deech. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, I'm just going to go through these comments real quick, and then we can get going. I didn't think there'd be this many comments today, but I guess football starting helped. Maybe that will help us the rest of the year. It's Thursday night football, you know. Houston Texans. How do you feel about the Houston Texans this year?
They're going to blow. I mean, no offense to whoever commented that they're a Texans fan. I mean,
Jada said 2-19.
You can feel our pain. I mean,
2-30.
Parlor to air out our troubles.
You gotta love it. Oh my god, I wanted to ask Deech about it, but bro, I wanted to ask him this last question. If you were gonna sneak something in with your belly fat, what would you sneak in? Like, bro, when I read that, like this lady, what would she do?
Yeah, I mean, shooters probably. I guess, right? I mean,
shooters. I mean, hey, now, I mean that's funny. But Justin, thank you, man, for staying here. I appreciate it. Anything you want to tell the people before you go? I always love your ending statements.
Go Mizzou, baby.
Hey, there you go. Well, Justin, thank you, man. I will see you next week. Enjoy football tonight and Sunday, and let's get the first W of the season.
Fuck yeah. Let's go.
There you go. Guys, thank you so much for coming here and hanging out with your boy Tino. We'll be back here in 1 short hour for the Lions and Chiefs. So, guys, go follow all the social medias, become a member, leave a super chat or 2, all of that good stuff. But if you can't do any of that, make sure to go like that. Hit that like button. Go subscribe on the road to 2K. And finally, turn that notification button on so you know when we go live in an hour and when all the other videos come out. So, guys, go eat some dinner and come back here and let's watch some football because football is back, baby, and there's nothing else better to do on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays than watch football until February. So I'm going to go take Travis Kelce out of my lineup, and I'll see you guys in an hour.